So today we will be learning about the English opening. First, we'll see the symmetrical variation. This is the symmetrical variation. So black will be copying our moves, c4, and he'll reply with c5. In this position, nc3 is a good move since the pawn defending this, the knight gets a pretty strong center control position. Black is playing the symmetrical variation, so we will continue with nc6. Now, in the English, the light squared bishop is our main piece for the English opening. Since it after fianchettoing the bishop, this entire diagonal or whatever it is will be properly controlled by us. Pawn controlling, knight controlling. So three pieces will be controlling d5. Two pieces will be controlling e4, and we have a pretty strong central control. The light squares are important. So over here we play this, and black decides instead of fianchettoing it and continuing with the symmetrical variation, he plays nf6. We respond by fianchettoing it, and like I said, the both d5 and e4 squares are properly controlled. He plays d6, trying to support this pawn. Over here, we will also continue with the same move. He plays g6, looking to fianchetto the bishop. Now we will move the knight here. Now again we are back to the symmetrical position. Everything is symmetrical according to me, at least. You can see all the pieces have been with same symmetry. Over here, black will also castle, same whites. This is now we will see the reversed Sicilian variation. This is a good move for black to counter the English. It's aggressive variation. c4, and he plays e4, this reverse Sicilian. So if you flip this board, it will look like the Sicilian. White has played this. It is the usual reverse Sicilian. Now here we will continue with the usual English move, nc3. He plays nf6. So we'll play the fianchetto. Now we'll simply fianchetto it. So this is looking pretty much like the reverse Sicilian. The pawns are pretty much the same. Over here we'll defend this pawn, and we'll just start playing the game. And over here white castles, and this bishop has now two to three choices. First choice here, playing a defensive Sicilian type position, or we can go over here, which would make our double pawns but give us an open file. And the third is bishop here. But if we play this, there comes a small problem, that is h6. If h6 comes, if you go here, this bishop will be trapped and putting us in a not a good position. So this bishop will have to again retreat. So we'll simply go on the defensive. Over here, according to Lichess, the most common response or counter is the English opening is the Anglo-Indian variation. So first of all, we'll start with c4, and nf6 is the Anglo-Indian defense. Over here, white does not play the nc3, which we have been seeing for the last two variations. Instead, plays g3. And the main reason we played g3 is just to fianchetto our bishop. Over here now, as black is still developing, we can start trying to take control of the center. Over here, bishop goes to g7. Black has also fianchetto. Black is looking for an early castle instead of defending the center. White simply responds with playing. Protection to the c4. Now we'll develop this knight, looking for the king castle. Now castle. The reason for playing nf3. So we'll now have to move the c1 bishop. Always, this move is not practical. This move is not practical since this would come bishop trying to withdraw, we just get to cap this thing, and this would just lead to moves getting wasted. So instead of that, we simply do this, and over here, according to the computer, white is in a small advantage position. So over here, this is the Anglo-Dutch defense. So the Anglo-Dutch defense will try to take the weak e4 square like this. We try to defend it, and over here we simply play g3. The most common line in most English opening is c4, then c3, g3, and bishop g2. So those are the four moves that usually are in a row or mostly played in the English, whichever variation may be, and we simply fianchetto it. Now we have to again same. This is usually followed as the same. Now black and white are both going in for the diagonal h1 to 8 diagonal. So white has to stop it and place this. So over here, black is almost mirroring our setup. For example, these three pawns, the knight for the knight, the bishop, and this for this. But there is a small difference with this. We have played the fianchetto on the king side while he has played it on the queen side. But of course, that is still mirroring since the mirror image is reflected like this. So yeah, pretty much this thing. We castle to stop him from copying us. Now this bishop will also reply with the same. And according to Stockfish in this position, we are a plus 0.1, and it is not stable, but plus 1 to plus 0.9, which is still good advantage in the opening if you're a professional or good player. This is the next variation, which is the Agincourt defense. So for your c4, and this is the Agincourt defense. He replies with e6. It is not such a common move to play e6, and according to my opinion, I never like to play e6 since this does not control major center squares. Over here, instead of playing the usual nc3, play the nf3. Here he plays d5, trying to wrestle the control out of center control out of white's control. We just take it. Or here we have lost the c pawn for the e pawn. We should always try to keep the center pawns with us and exchange of the side pawns, but black did not follow that and he lost his center pawn. So we have both our center pawn. Now white usually fianchettos his bishop in the English. Over here now this knight has no choice but to go here. We don't have any other developing move. Over here we have two choices, 2 to 3 choices. First choice is this, d4, trying to control some center squares. Second is d3, going on the defensive, looking to develop this bishop. And the third is castle. We'll be looking at castle. Now, white is looking for this diagonal, but like I said at the start, in the English, the white light squared bishop is the important piece in the English opening. The most important piece in the English opening. So if black's also light squared bishop gets to exchange with that bishop, it is not so good for us. So we have to stop him from doing that. And I don't see any way from stopping it except for freezing the pawn. So we play this, not allowing this pawn to push, meaning exchange is avoided. He continues with this. Now again, we have a few choices, 1, 2, and 3. We'll continue with our usual one. And now this is the Agincourt defense, and black, it does not look like a really nice position to play. Of course, he has got this file open and can develop this, but white is already developed. White just needs to play one move and this move, and white will quickly go on the offensive. Now we will be seeing a really good, by my opinion, variation, the Great Snake variation. Yeah, it's called the Great Snake variation. So let's see how it is played. C4, G6. Looking, black is looking to play an early castle by fianchetting bishop. White does not go for the early castle, instead looking for the center control. Sorry for the NC3. Move is NF3. Not common according to the English. Still, here black has fianchetted this bishop. And we play NC3 to just defend this pawn. And now we just fianchetto it and fianchetto. Over here we just have to castle. Now we have to control the e4 with the pawn and the usual move d3. The bishop will simply go here. So this is the Great Snake variation. It might look similar to the previous ones. The position in the English is usually ends up like this. The knight is on c3. The pawns are developed in type of a Sicilian move. And the white has fianchetted his bishop and castle. And white has played his dark squared bishop to d2 defensive mode. And here, fine, but still, white has a nice position. White can try this, go for h4, and white has many moves. One of the moves I would play in this position is queen d3, developing the queen. You would probably play this if he is like 1200, 1300 player on leeches. If he is 1000, he wouldn't do that. He would just play b6 or something. And if he is a like high rated player, 16, 1700 on leeches, then you can't do that, since if we try with this, queen to let us say he plays this, queen to here, and that player will, instead of playing something like this, instead of playing the rook to b8, he might possibly play a waiting move. For example, this. I'm giving an example. He might play something else. Let us see the more practical approach. Knight here. Here in this position, white will be really happy to take it. but that is where white makes his mistake. Black gets an open file and he gets a direct attack over here, and white can't do much against it. This pawn is protected by this, and white's queen will have to come over here, but a counter to that is the queen here. Now this black rook is permanently sealed over here. He could try this, I know that, but yes, this is a nice position for him to play. And if you try with this, remember not to take with the queen since his knight will be over here. So now we will see a opening that you might have heard, the English opening, Caro-Can defensive. It gives a defense against the English. And here he plays c6. This is almost a Caro-Can, which is usually e4 c6. But here he's played c4 c6. Over here we'll play nf3, and c6 and nf3 are the main this thing. And now we take this one. Over here, black has this time followed the move, not giving up the center pawns. Both of them have the center pawn, black and white. So now we will try for the center and blockade him also. Again, the fianchetto, whenever you get time for it. And the moment fianchetto happens, castle. Now where would we put this knight? This knight has only one square, that is this. The bishop, our usual square. And not much of difference, but this is the Caro-Can defensive. And over here, a pretty similar name, English opening, English defense. This is pretty similar to the Great Snake defense which I showed, but this is slightly better. C4 and of course B6. This is a hyper modern opening. For those who don't know what an hyper modern opening is, it is an opening that is really newly invented and like real, not invented in the like what you can say 2000s or something. This is like invented in 2019 20 something. So this is called a hyper modern opening, and the hyper modern opening also is a quick opening, quick exchanges and everything. Here now we'll play this move. Now this knight, so usually these two knights and this pawn are the first three moves in most English openings. Here instead of playing d3, which is our usual move, we play e3, trying to go for this, and we immediately take the center. Now this bishop has this and this as a square. We play this, trying to get a longer diagonal instead of getting a block diagonal. Or here he castles. Over here, this bishop can't do much with this pawn being blockaded. So it tries the second best move, trying to fianchetto it on the queen side. And we just fianchetto. Ignoring this, maybe possibly this or something. Now we castle. This is how we play against the English defense. Okay, so over here, we will check the last one, the 10th variation. This is the Anglo-Scandinavian. And this is not the best opening. It's like a pretty poor opening. So white can get a better position. So c4 and d5. This will play usually by beginners, thinking that it is our usual move and all. The queen will be in the center, but no. We just take this pawn. Simple. Queen here, And now we start developing everything. It has to bring here, we simply develop. This queen is running around while we are taking the center and developing everything. But here we have to X-ray the queen. So we'll simply develop and X-ray. Over here now, this bishop has come over here. This move does not look pretty nice since this would have to come double and the king would be open. Instead, we'll try to attack it with a piece. So which piece should we attack? I think we'll go with the knight here, trying to strike at this. Here, we cannot play a move that is really bad. In this position, this has to be the key move to get an really advantageous position. And over here we are 1.7 plus, which is a pretty good position for white. But over here, many of the players might go into beginner mode or something like that and try to strike in the center with everything they've got. E4, which is a complete blunder, a complete and total, which will take you to -7 because of a simple reply. Bishop takes d1, which is missed by most players if you're not in a great situation. You might be feeling giddy that you are 1.7 plus just in the opening. So you might try to push that advantage, but that will go down to -7. So this light square bishop is the only piece that is not moved yet. So this queen is under attack from here. So now you can take some time to pause the video and think of the move. So let us see whatever your moves are. Over here, many of you might have thought about queen to b3, trying to strike at the pawn, but not really much useful. Since the queen would simply come over here, exchange happens, and he'll just get an open file for the rook. Not something you would want for him. Second that will come to your mind would be knight to f3, but this knight is in a really good position in the center. If you know much, if you take chess.com lessons, I have a diamond membership, so I usually use it. It is called an outpost by few of the recent streamers and everybody. An outpost is something when the knight is in a really controllable uh, controlling center, and it is supported by a pawn, meaning the likeliness of the knight getting moved is really low because of a pawn. Since the pawn is the only this thing that could force the knight to move, pieces cannot force it since the knight will just stay over there. No piece can threaten it. Be it a bishop, the pawn will simply knight. No piece can threaten it except for the pawn in an outpost. So the pawn to threaten that outpost is pretty far away. It tries this. This happens. The outpost is immediately lost. Try for something. The f6, trying to get it back. But the move is actually much more shocking than what you would have thought. It is f3, a brilliant move if you found it out. Now we can go with this, and that is the Anglo-Scandinavian defense. So Thank you so much for. So that is the end of it. We have seen about 9 to 10 variations in the English opening, which is hopefully enough for you to play the English opening. Two more variations are also there, but they're not much important and don't even is less very less likely that the opponent will play. So once again, thank you for watching the video. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.